I just got a really quick question. How do you approach the first 3 to 6 months of a new SEO campaign? It really depends on what I'm facing with. Over the last 15 years, I would say 3 common websites have been one of the following. 1, a technological startup. A brand new site looks great. The design, the user experience looks hot, but it's not really content rich and there's not enough content depth to have any significant and meaningful SEO improvements in the initial 3 to 6 months. Now, it's a new startup. So in the first 3 months, I tell them, you're probably going to be in the Google sandbox anyway. That shouldn't change the way in which we approach it though. So what we initially focus on with startups is developing a content plan, not just for the blog, but also for developing their initial and expanding their initial IA. Now, there can be times when that's already taken care of, but more often than not, it's not. We look at ways in which we can expand the site dynamically. So for example, last year, actually, a technological startup where we helped them map out an entirely new site. It wasn't just site structure, it was basically an entire new IA. Because they were focusing on stocks and shares, I had to figure out what do people want more often than not? What is the biggest search for? What are they looking for ultimately? And have that as the basis of how I build out before I even think about really truly expanding the blog. And one of the key areas I looked at was getting those ticker codes in there. Who doesn't Google their share prices? So making sure that every single ticker of ASX 200, 500, etc. was embedded into its own unique dedicated page. Not only does everyone search for that content that's got those shares, but 2, it can actually be dynamically generated content. And it's a great way to expand the site out really quickly with content that people really would find valuable when they've already landed on the website, as well as their search volume and intent. So expanding the IA is what I really focus on in that initial period. Second biggest thing that I focus on is developing a PR campaign, trying to work out who are the journalists in the technological space that are interested in these types of things. So they talk either a lot about technology or financial. They like to discuss startups or innovation in those different fields. Approach them, have a detailed PR sheet to say, okay, here's how this company stands out in the marketplace. Here's the pain points that it's going to solve for the market. Basically give them a story that they can write about for their own users, and in exchange get links. And that initial period, that initial surge, you're really looking for PR-driven links to get the buzz, content that gets syndicated, so you really start off with that initial boost. And if you targeted 10, you're probably going to get 5 if you're lucky, right? So initially, Google doesn't really have that much, they don't know if they can trust you or not. So the links and the expanding content is going to show Google that you are the real deal. The second type of site that I get a lot is a site that's been around for a while. They're a construction company, they're a pest control company. They've got about 10 pages. They haven't blogged in 2 years. They've got a couple of good links. They've got the age, they've got a bit of authority. And so what we like to do with them is, okay, let's build out a long tail keyword plan. So that initial 6-month period, we can show growth quickly. For example, in jewelry, how much should I pay for an engagement ring? We'll build out that content initially and then get that initial traffic coming in to show them that we are getting increases in qualified traffic to the site because you've got the authority, you've got the age, Google trusts you, you've been around for a while. So the long tail approach in the first 3 to 6 months where the easy traffic is going to be. I like to look at legacy content that they used to have that has been taken down. Why has legacy content over the years been taken down? Has there been any links pointing to this content? I had a jeweler that had content taken down and they had links from QBE, NA and Z about their whole story, about why they started as a jeweler. And this content, for whatever reason, was taken down. And because I'm the more of the restoration than the redirect guy, I restored those pages in the exact structure that they were in. There was really no need to change that. And obviously, good things led from that approach. Another approach that I take with those types of sites is if they've got 3 or 4 services, can we expand that into 10 services, 15 services, and look for various ways in which we can build it out based upon search intent and search volume and what people will find valuable. That initial, even if it goes from 5 to 10, and then you're building a long tail strategy around that then links back to these internal pages, always a great idea. But it's all about in the links phase, in this initial 3, 6, and 9 month process, it's just only about quality. And last, definitely not the least, is those really super large technical sites. A site that's got about 100,000 URLs, they're e-commerce, they're on Shopify, they've been around for a while, they've got the awareness and the trust, but the big wins are in the technical, in the foundation. Before I like to work on the aesthetics of SEO, the real flashy, beautiful type content in these examples, I try to make sure that the foundation is structurally sound. And if you're using sites like Shopify, straight away I know where to look because I've dealt with them a lot. One of the key things with Shopify is they don't do very well is canonicalization. So you will have collection pages, you will have, in this example, literally hundreds, if not thousands of collections pages that then link out to multiple products from different groups. But the problem is they're linking to those products with a URL that gets canonical later on to the canonical version. So you're telling Google that you've got all these links coming internally that you technically don't even want indexed. That you want indexed is this other version. Well, why not just link to that version straight away? It can create some orphan issues, which I'm not going to get into just for the sake of this video, but you really want to link to the primary, especially over and over and over, to the canonicalized version rather than the collections, the brand, the collection name, the products, and then the product name. The canonical version on Shopify is just product name. From within your collection pages, just link to the product versions and make sure that's consistent. Second biggest problem I find with e-commerce sites in general is some of the best performing pages are weak on content, text-based content. They have no good schema. They lack good titles and descriptions. So if it's a collections page, the category is something like Dickies. They might sell belts, boots, and pants. And the search volume around those individual pages isn't just Dickies workwear. That's the parent term, but there's also child terms like Dickies pants, Dickies boots, Dickies belts. So we want to make sure that we incorporate, if we are selling those particular products, then include those keywords into the title. And so what I'm always looking for is having a look at our top 100 and making sure we juice out all of the authority as we possibly can in that initial period, because they're already relatively performing well for one reason or the other. So focusing on the top 100 to expand out the amount of keywords that can actually rank is important, and then optimizing that for click-through rate is also equally important. Brands that we get from clients, we have a look at their top performing pages and the titles are one word. The descriptions that we write for click-through rate is just empty. So we want to take advantage of those initially, because that's where a lot of the time the juice is. Another big one is in internal and external broken links. External broken links is because products are just being pulled so quickly all the time, coming and going. They've got links to these external sites that have fallen off by the wayside and wasted literally into the bin, right? So fixing up pages that had external links, and again, restoration, not redirection guy, try to restore those URLs exactly as they were when they had the big links. And have a product management strategy. So tell your teams, build a procedure. If you remove a product, does this product theoretically need to be removed entirely, like deleted out of the database and sayonara, goodbye? Well, then you probably wouldn't need to redirect that somewhere else, because you don't want to have 404s, especially with pages that have a lot of external links, or they're indexed in Google, they're indexed in Bing. They have that authority. You really, really, really want to treat those URLs in a way that, if you can, load up a page that says, hey, this product is no longer available, but here's a list of related products, and let that page load as normal and have it somewhere deep down in the architecture so you're not building orphan pages. So that juice, that link authority that you have is still there. If from an external source or even from within your own site, that there is a link back to it, the customer is given alternative options. I think that is good for user experience more than SEO, but there is definitely SEO benefits to keeping that. And always, across all three, try to restore URLs and redirect as a last resort. Thanks a lot, guys. Hopefully that was valuable for you.